Good afternoon, and again, as I said yesterday, welcome. I'm not sure if this is set up or not, so give me a moment to. All right. Nope, that's not it. Let me begin by pointing out that today's a pretty busy day for me. You know, today is, of course, our onboarding, and onboarding is a term that's used in business for bringing on new hires. And we wanted to use onboarding and not orientation because then there would be some confusion with the university's overall orientation program. And of course, there's obviously confusion because some people are not here. But we are engaged in onboarding. But today I've had to give a presentation to new faculty to explain how to teach you guys. And then I just came back from a meeting with my former partner, who's actually an alum of this school, on a number of issues, including some of the plans that he has for the business, which he manages a $5 billion operation here in Houston. And so it's been pretty busy for me today. But you'll see me again after this. What I'm going to be doing now is getting you set for the projects that we're going to ask you guys to work on. You'll be divided into rooms, and in each room there is a different project. I'll touch on that in a minute. I'm just not sure what's going on with the setup here. You'll be divided into different rooms, and in each room there'll be a different project. One from NASA, another one from ABE, which is American Association of Blacks in Energy. A third is on housing, and then a fourth is going to be led by a senior vice president from Amity Bank. And so, hold on. But now, in your packets, there is a document that looks like this. And so you may want to just pull it out. Now, one of the things we're doing in terms of this exercise today, this all-day affair, is that we're actually giving you guys hints and keys to how to be successful in college. And so one of the things that we did was that we actually created notes for you to give you a hint, okay? Guess why? If you show up in class and you know I'm not taking notes, then you know that you're not actually doing what you need to do to be successful. I'll tell you a very quick story while we're still waiting for this to come up. My son, when he was, I guess he was in the first grade. My son, when he was in the first grade, my wife said, go see your dad and so he can help you with the math. He showed up. He sat down. And after he sat down and got comfortable, I said, where's your pencil, your pad, and your book? He jumped up, he ran back to his mother crying. This went on for year after year. And then finally, in the fourth grade, he came, he sat down, and he did the following. He said, and put his book down. And I said, you know what? Now you don't need me. And he didn't. I said, after that, now you know what you need to do. So we'll give you hints. One, gotta take notes. We wrote the notes for you this time. But as you go forward, you need to be able to take notes. You need to be able to focus on what's happening in the classroom. And one of the exercises that was done for faculty earlier today, this is faculty for the whole campus, new faculty. The facilitator spoke in Korean. I don't speak Korean, but so she spoke in Korean, and then she said, well, what did I say? And no one knew what she said. That's because no one knew that she was speaking Korean, and no one spoke Korean. Guess what? When you come to a class you've never been in before, studying a subject that you have never heard of before, and they could just as well be speaking Korean. So one of the things you're going to have to do is, actually before you get to the class, try to find out what they're going to be talking about. Okay, so these are the hints that really will help you be successful. And so I'm going to give you some instructions But before we get to the instructions, I'm going to start out with just a little primer. What is business about? Leading in business, and then the instructions. Anyone tell me what business is about? Now, I'm sure that there's people here that can read in the back. Well, you might want to stand up and just project. I don't really need to have this, but we're taping, so that's why. Right.
Business is about managing people and their situations, I guess.
Managing people. Does anyone see up here or managing people somewhere in here or managing? Well, there's leadership for people and then management, right? What else is business about? I mean, this is an easy test because the answers are on the screen, right? Excuse me? Opening doors and creating opportunities. Big time, right? Creating opportunities. That's what we're doing here for you guys. Creating opportunities. So, business is about people. It's about providing goods and services to those people. It's about managing people so that they can actually produce those goods and services. It's about understanding people so you know what to produce. And it's about career opportunities, including entrepreneurial opportunities. Business ranges. This is something that most people don't understand, that every organization, whether they are for-profit or they're not-for-profit, whether they're government or non-government, is a business organization. Every single one of them. And in fact, there's a continuum of organizations from traditional for-profit, these guys, all they care about is making money, to socially responsible businesses where they're actually concerned about the environment, about the safety and health of the people that work for them, all the way to traditional nonprofits like museums, schools. Oh, I should mention, the principal difference between this extreme and that extreme is that profit-making motive is encountered in these types of entities, and social mission is encountered in these types of entities. Think about what type of person you are, and then what type of entity you would like to work for. That's going to be helpful. So my daughter-in-law just finished her MBA. She went to a school where the people who come out, they tend to go to places where you are quantitative, and they tend to go to major corporations. But she made a decision that she actually, her motives were more social mission. So she just took a job with Teach for America, not teaching, but as a strategist in the operations area. So as you sit here today, the types of things that you think you may want to do, you need to really think about expanding your horizon. I'm going to talk a bit about that later. Okay, this is something that's very important because you guys are going to be faced with challenge. And this is where you hopefully have a pen so that you can actually write down what's going on in these boxes. This is something that will help you throughout your career, not only in school, but period. This is a model that I use all the time. Okay, when we talk about paint by numbers are situations or challenges where you know what the process is that you have to engage in, and you know what the outcome is. So, for instance, you're going to run track, right? You're a quarter miler. You know what the process is. You got to come out the blocks, after the gun goes off, right? And you know that you got to run a quarter mile. So you know what the objective is, you know where you're going, right? That's paid by numbers. But now, how many of you run a quarter mile? And how many of you run a quarter mile competitively? Now, even for those people who run a quarter mile competitively, it's not easy. Just not complicated, right? You know where you're going, you know where you are, you hope that you don't have a lousy position on the track, right? But it is not easy to do, but it's not complicated. Paint by numbers challenges are not complicated. You can follow the breadcrumbs. Very important to remember this, because when I have someone working for me, and if they work for me and they come to me with paint by numbers problems, then I know I have the wrong person. They should be able to solve those. The next most complicated is what's called quest. And a quest is where you know where you're going, but you have no idea how to get there. So you want to get to New York. How do you get there? Do you drive? Do you fly? If you fly, are you going to take a cheap ticket, or are you going to make multiple stops? You don't know how you're going to get there. Each time you encounter a challenge, you want to put them in one of these boxes, because that's going to help you identify what tools you need to be successful at solving the challenge. The next one is movie. Everybody in here knows how to make a movie. Can anyone tell me how you make a movie? What do you need to make a movie?
Script.
Script. Anyone else?
Camera.
Camera, right?
Actors.
Actors, right? So all of us know how to make a movie. So we know the process. But do we know the outcome? If we knew the outcome of a movie, then wouldn't all movies win the Academy Award? Yeah, so we don't know. Okay, these guys put the money in, they'll know if they're gonna be a box office success or not. So the outcome is not known, but the process is known. How to do it is known. And last but not least, it's fog. Fog is where you have no idea where you're going and no idea how to get there. Okay? Remember that. So when you have challenges, you need to, or assignments, you need to actually figure out which box they're in, because that's going to dictate how much time you need, whether you need to be working with other people, whether you need to come back and forth talking to whomever is giving the assignment to get more detail. Because if you're dealing with something that's fog, then you're going to need a lot of help. If you're dealing with something that's paint by numbers, then you should be able to figure it out and get it done. Very important. And so when you see these challenges that are going to be given to you by the facilitators after this meeting, you'll know that you need to categorize those challenges to figure out, because you're only going to have a certain amount of time to do this, right? And so if you're going to come up with an answer that's an answer in fog, you're going to run out of time. Okay. Now, leading a business involves either being an innovator, a pioneer, an entrepreneur, or an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is a person who works in a company and is a change agent, a catalyst who could be the CEO, it could be someone lower than the chief executive officer, who's there to make a difference, make the place different from what it was. But in each case, innovators, pioneers, and entrepreneurs, they're all creating something that wasn't there before. And that's what leadership in business is about, is actually creating something that was not there before. Leadership in business involves, for my generation, baby boom generation, we thought that we're big time because we could actually think outside the box. But now, what's wrong with the people in the box? Can anyone tell me? Right, it's cramped. Okay, okay, it's cramped, and that means that when you're cramped and uncomfortable, can you really think straight? No. Okay, so if you're inside the box, you can't really think straight. But now, what's wrong with the baby boom generation sitting outside the box?
They don't know
They're
what's
looking
inside.
from the outside here.
Yeah.
What did you say?
They're
Stand up,
looking-
stand up.
They're looking from the outside in.
Right.
And
So when the young lady next to you has the other part of it, she just said,
They can't see what's inside the box.
well, they can't see what's inside the box. They're looking at from the outside in. They're fixated on the box. So the guys in the box can't get out the box. The guys outside the box can't figure out how to get in, and they're not figuring out how to solve the problem. The problem means that you have to think beyond the box. You have to get away from the box altogether. And if you want to frame your future, you gotta get out of the box. Now guess what? The box is a circumstance that you have currently. It's a circumstance from which you came. You were in high school. Okay, so you gotta get out of that box. You gotta get away from it, okay? Don't even look back at it. Remember Lot and his wife, she turns around and she became a box of molten salt. So you do not want to look at the box. You don't want to be in the box. You want to actually be who you are framing yourself to become. All right, so now, this is the beginning of the instructions really for the assignment that you guys are going to engage in. When we look at framing our future, the framing skills involve having knowledge, then thinking about that knowledge, executing or taking action based on that knowledge, and then communicating to people about what should happen given what you have learned. So the way it works is this: knowledge involves finding opportunities. Knowledge involves finding opportunities. There's an old saying from the 1960s that knowledge is power. I'm telling you that is not the case, okay? Not for your generation, because anybody can Google, okay? So just having knowledge, on this side it says making a difference, this is how much you get paid. So if you just have knowledge, this is what you get paid. Because anybody can Google. Now, you're going to take that knowledge and you're going to think about it and create options. For you guys, for me, it's different because I'm the dean of the business school, so I have the option to be able to say, maybe, well, let me think about it. But for you guys are not at that point. You can only say, do it or don't do it. Yes or no, right? That's it. So you got to take these opportunities and put them into yes or no. That means you got to think about how to do that, right? Organizing the opportunities into options. Then execution means that you're going to have to take risks, right? Because you split it up into yes or no, but now you're going to have to say which side of the coin am I going to be on. Am I going to say buy or am I going to say sell? Am I going to say do it or am I going to say not do it, right? You're going to have to take a risk. And if you take that risk, that means you're going to be delivering a result. The people are not hiring you for you, they're hiring you for that result. And as a result, once you have come up with the result, you have to communicate that result, and you have to communicate that result by articulating clearly what the action should be to the people who are going to make the final decision. Okay? So that's the frame. Here are the projects, and here are the instructions. They're going to go over the instructions again with you. The most important thing here is that you're going to be pre-assigned to a room, to a project. You're going to be put into teams, and when you're put into those teams, you're going to have to decide who's going to be the person who's going to present the results, who's going to be the researcher. That's the term of art is Google jockey. The person's going to be on the computer looking up the information, because you guys are going to be on time. There's going to be a timekeeper because you're not going to get any extra time, right? You're only going to have 40 minutes to do this. And then a note taker who's actually taking notes, so that then at the end you have a document that has certain information on it that includes your team name and then includes answers to a number of questions. First, I want to point out that this whole thing is going to be graded based on your presentation. One, identify which questions that you're going to be addressing. I'll talk about the questions in a minute. You're going to, in your presentation, you need to focus on solutions to the challenge as opposed to just regurgitating what the challenge is. You have to communicate with clarity and conviction. And what you're going to be asked to do is you're going to be asked to answer 1, 2, and 3. So this is what matters, each row. Take only one of these items per row to answer. So for instance, if you're answering the question finding opportunities, you can then say, what type of challenge is this? Well, we already went through the challenges, right? Is it paint by numbers? Is it movie challenge? Whatever. If you choose that, then you're through with this row. Now, then you go to this one, organizing options, and then say you choose what is the business. Now, you're going to create a business to solve the challenge. And so you're going to be able to say, what is that business? Why? Now, the word to the wise. When I was a sophomore and I took my marketing class a million years ago, I was on a team, and we had Howard Johnson's, which was a hotel restaurant chain. And the first question that the Professor Gutman asked us was, what is the business? And we said, hotel marketing. And we got back our first assignment with a cow looking at the rear end of the cow, and the cow was looking back. And so we went up to Gutman and we said, what kind of grade is this? He said, you guys are dumber than I thought. What comes out of the back of the cow? Okay. And so when you talk about the business, you gotta dig deeper. You can't just say that they're a hotel, blah, blah, blah. It turns out that Howard Johnson really was in a real estate business. Okay. That's really what they were in. You gotta dig deep. You only have 40 minutes, right? And then last but not least, if you didn't choose, you gotta choose one of these three for the third one, execution or your strategy that supports the business that you choose. And say, well, why should your company be financed? Say you choose that one, you gotta explain. Why should someone lend you the money to finance that company? That, in a nutshell, is the set of instructions for the project. And I'll take any questions before we actually move you guys into the rooms. And someone else is gonna take over before you guys get up to give direction. But any questions? So you guys are all ready, gung-ho. And now, of course, there will be awards for the teams that actually, per room, that actually do the best. So you gotta put your energy into this, yes?
We have 40 minutes to do all of this.
That's right,
That's it.
that's right. Well, let me give you a little secret about today.
Huh?
I like that question that she had.
Well, yeah, right. I thought I would help.
Yeah.
What
Oh.
kind of prize?
What type of prizes? Well, to be determined. Okay. But the answer, to give you a little secret about today, is that what you guys are going through today is really an experience that you would experience over a college year, including an examination that only has 40 minutes, but you guys didn't prep for it, right? So now you guys are gonna figure out how to pass this exam in order to win the prize. So what we're doing today is we're giving you tools and experiences, and also we're interacting with you and showing you that if you have any doubts, you should ask one of the people that we presented to you, advisors, department chairs, deans. Ask them about what you need, or in the vernacular, ask somebody, okay? You gotta make sure that you're talking to the people who have the information, because I'm not in college, okay? I long since have been through college, so I can tell you the answers to the questions. But your friend who's sitting there with you, it's like, you're in jail and you turn to your friend and say, what are you in for? Okay? And, okay, well, in your case, if you're spending your time asking your friends the questions instead of asking the people who know, then you and your friends will be sitting outside and saying, what are you out for? Okay? So we're trying to get you guys introduced to the college and introduced to ways to frame your future, design where you're going to be, design your success. And so I turn it over, I guess, to Dr. Brown.
All right, let's get a big hand up.
Thank you, sir. All right, well, this time let's do it for real, all right? Let's see the cards. Put your cards up. Everybody, don't tell me the twins lost their cards.
No, mine's in the room.
Ah, it's in the room, okay. All right, well, let's return to the rooms that we just came from. Let's start, thank you.
Does everyone understand? Okay, just a second, hang on for a second. You guys understand that? Three questions. Then once you do that, you identify what questions you're addressing. Focus on your solution. Your solution should be to the challenge. We went over that earlier, right? And then you have to stand up and present that clarity, and you got to believe in what you're saying. Okay? Y'all got that? All right.
I think it should be you want like about an hour or so, do it by day. You want to do it about a day, about an hour. However long you can read it out. We did. I have my ticket ready. Right. So it's on now. But it was there for the what to wear.
I had something to start this one out.
Yes, whatever
you don't use,
Look, she would have me come safer. Okay, so here.
Wait, do we need to present this in a specific order, like ethical, regulatory, whatever the last one was?
Environmental is the first one.
y'all can do it anywhere you want. Just, I wanna make sure you all check and get a team name. I heard you mention over there. Heard them mention it over there.
It's free. It's free. Prezi. P-R-E-Z-I.
Alright. My name is Chancey Fullove, and I'm gonna be presenting my business plan for the housing project, and this is.
Good afternoon, my name is Broderick James. I will also be presenting today.
Alright,
We had to answer 3 questions, finding opportunities.
The members of your group?
Oh,
this is our fellow colleague, this is.
Connor Mathers.
Leticia Jackson. I'm Cerise. Hi. And I'm Detention Jones.
today during our project, we had to answer 3 questions. One of our questions was finding opportunities. The question was, what is the cause of the problem and why?
Cause of the problem is unaffordable houses, and what we plan to do is build affordable houses for low income people, so they can afford it.
And then second, framing the future, organizing options. Our second question was, what is required for a business to operate? I mean, no, what is the motive and why?
Our motive is to help low income people, like I just said, and so they could like move up the chain of the levels. So yeah.
And our third and final question was the third frame was execution. Why should your company be financed?
Because we're helping those less fortunate, and if any one of us was less fortunate, we'll want someone to help us. So that's the motive behind everything.
Basically, we out here helping people who can't help themselves.
Now the plan is we need $1 million to build 10 houses, and out of those 10 houses, we're gonna spend $50,000 on each house, and we sell all the 10 houses, we'll get $250,000, and then with the rest, we'll pay off our employees with the other $500,000. And yeah.
I understand.
So now, no, please. Okay, it's time for questions.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is there any questions in the audience?
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
Where is this project taking place?
It's taking place, not this street, but the next street over by the college. Next question.
Why did you pick that community? Or why did you pick that?
But because we found out there's a lot of homeless people walking around here towards the college and stuff, and they need places to stay. And most people can't help themselves, so we decided to help out in our community.
Okay, so y'all will be giving the houses away.
Not giving
we ain't
them
giving nothing away.
They homeless, how you expect them to build that?
No, it's homeless and low income people here, so we're gonna help out the low income people with that.
So y'all gonna do like monthly payments or?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
monthly payment.
the homeless people, they get vouchers. So the vouchers they pay the managers and stuff. So that's how we got off that.
Yeah, we're gonna put it on Section 8 so the government pays us, and we won't have to worry about that.
Any more questions?
I have a question.
Nah, no.
I have a question. What was the main purpose of this? Like,
The purpose of everything we
Yes.
did?
We give it back to our community. I mean, we are now fellow students of this organization, TSU Tiger. So, and then this is our community. So we give it back.
Yeah, I like that.
So how do you all expect to get this $1 million?
Well, we taking out a loan at the bank.
I ain't gonna get out $1 million.
They're not gonna give it to us, you know.
We're gonna ask Miss Aljanita, she's gonna give us the money. Yeah.
How much will y'all be paying back a year?
Paying back,
Like our interest and stuff?
30%.
Yeah.
30%. Yeah, we paying back 30%.
So how many years will it take y'all to pay this?
We, 8. Any more questions? That's it.
That's our presentation. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ebony Jewel.
And I'm Ashton Black, and sorry, group over there. And
Will you please introduce yourselves? What up?
Dustin Choice.
Jared Moore.
I'm Unique Patterson.
And basically we had a project on housing and building houses for low-income communities, and we chose Brazil because overpopulation and stuff like that, they need houses. And what is the cause of the problem?
The cause of the problem is that in Brazil there is a surplus of poor residents. A lot of times they live in 10 buildings. I know you all know Fast and Furious 6, and they were in Brazil running through. And a lot of times I know from experience, their houses fall down in horrible storms. They have horrible hygiene, no plumbing. So we want to give back to the community and build safe, appropriate housing that can shelter them with plumbing, electricity, but at affordable prices.
And what is our business?
We are a real estate agent that also specializes in construction. We build for ourselves.
And why should our company be financed? I mean, it's simple. Basically, we really pointed that out from the beginning. We were trying to help people out and get them into healthier situations, because what the overpopulation stuff in Brazil is bad. Like 8 people staying in 10 square foot homes, like it's bad. It's not good at all.
And because of the condensed population, it causes a lot of crime and a lot of low education. A lot of kids don't go to school, or they have to drop out because they can't go to school, or they don't have schools in their community. There's a huge gap between the poor and the rich. A lot of the rich are drug lords, basically. And we want to bridge that gap for those who can go to school and have better opportunities. So we know that the average salary is about $48,000 a year in Brazil. So we want to create housing in which they'd only pay about $500, apartment buildings. So they only pay about $500 a month in housing, so they can still have time to have money to raise their families and to help improve the community.
Yeah, so as she said, we're gonna do apartment buildings, and it's gonna take us about $600,000 to build a building, right? And we're asking about $900,000 total, $100,000 for our workers, $700,000 for the building, and then the rest for whatever needed. And we're gonna ask them to pay $500 per month. We'll make about $25 grand a month. In a year, we'll make $300,000. But 15% back to our investors, 25% going to the community, and then we take in the rest of profit. So
That's it.
that's it.
That's it.
Okay, questions?
So y'all willing to risk y'all life and health to help foreign people that probably don't want y'all there, and there's a city that's run by drug lords that's probably run y'all out?
I mean, we're not gonna actually build the apartments in that exact same spot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's for the people who want it.
Yeah, we're gonna move them out of that situation into a better environment, stuff like that.
How are you gonna move them?
Plus his transportation. That's why we have an extra $200,000.
For contingency.
All of them. So what about the people that are sick or in the hospital? Like, are you gonna be able to move those too, or are you gonna leave them there?
I mean, they're
We're
sick
in
in
the
the hospital.
hospital. We're not tearing down the hospital.
But like, what if their families are the ones that taking care of them in the hospital? You're just gonna leave?
I mean, we're not gonna like take them to a deserted island or something. They're gonna be able to communicate with the family.
And a lot of the jobs we're
Also, you're
creating.
making phones too.
No, a lot of the jobs we're creating are for them also.
Also, you're making jobs.
We're
as
making
well.
jobs for them as well.
Oh.
How did you say you were getting your starting money?
Investors.
Oh, we have three investors.
For what?
From GE Capital, Morgan Stanley, and Blackstone.
Y'all know them?
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna get to know
We
them.
don't get them.
Anything else?
Y'all wanna come on? What is it? Our name of our organization is called Hope for Vets. Now, the 3 questions that we selected, I'm gonna tell y'all the first one. The first one is, what is the cause of the problem? The problem, of course, the veterans, they're homeless. The cause of this is, well, I think a lot of veterans come back from the war with little to no experience working into like the real world. And a lot of the younger veterans get this the worst because they're young and they just came back from the war. They have no education, and some of them are very, they have disabilities, and their health is not in all shape, not in good shape. And a lot of them, about 30% of veterans develop post-traumatic stress disorder. Also, many veterans end up giving up, trying to look for a job, trying to go back to their education, they're like, give up. And so this is where we come in, hope for veterans. Thank you. And our second question is, what is the motive and why? Our motive here at Hope for Vets is to help the vets in many different ways, mainly in their health and education. We want to help the vets like they did for our freedom. This is why we feel that the vets deserve this, because we basically owe our lives because they protected our lives.
Yeah, my third question was, what is the most important thing for this company's success? We say like the community, because veterans did a lot for us, so you're going to give back and everything for our country. We felt that like a lot of people, like celebrities like Bill Gates, Oprah, social media, we can post blogs and stuff like that. And we got charities and donations from different banks of like how the organization could be funded. In front of Walmart, post out different flyers and stuff for people that can help. That's really a big organization. A lot of people go there.
We also go through the social media like Twitter, Facebook. We have YouTube accounts to post advertisements, just anything to get people who don't know anything about it or people who do know nothing about it to get more involved and to help them with this. Like, get more armed forces there, letting them people go back home to let them, they can help more into helping them find at least some kind of job to get on their feet or whatever, to get back to where we used to be before they left for the war.
You gotta think about it like if that was one of your family members or anybody that you don't want somebody to help them. I got an uncle, he was in the army and everything. He got post-traumatic stress disorder. So, it kind of hurt to see him like that sometimes. So, you gotta think about it like that. But,
Good job.
that's it.
Okay, let's give him a good hand. Great job. Okay, next up is group number 2. Good job, group 4. Okay, come on, let's go. Good job, let's go.
We're gonna answer the question first.
Our name is Touching Veterans Organization.
TVO.
Our first question we had
Texas, I'm sorry, Texas what?
No, Touching
Veterans Organization.
Okay.
Our first question we did purpose. No, yeah, see purpose. Who was affected? Basically just the homeless veterans, like trying to get them back off the street, give them somewhere to stay, like get them back on their feet a little bit. The second question is, what is the business? It's called Touching Veterans
Can I ask
Organization.
you to speak a little bit louder, please?
Yes, ma'am. It's called, what is the business? Is to clean up homeless veterans and give them a place to rest, and for food, and just a shelter, basically. And why should we be financed? Is to get donations as far as food, clothing, supplies like soap, toothpaste,
Bedding and all that. Okay, and as far as our staff, how we get our staff to help us, we was gonna look at the social media first, cause nowadays in our generation, more people on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. So we were gonna use the hashtag in Houston since it says local. So we're trying to help our local veterans first before we help the whole world, or, you know. So our local veterans in Houston, we was gonna, you know, post advertisement over Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, and maybe people that do know family members could call their family members and let them know about us, or, you know what I'm saying, contact us. And as far as our funds, our Touch of Veterans Fund, we're gonna do local fundraising as well as social fundraising, and all that will come together, and hopefully we'll get sponsored or get anything from Walmart to where 15 to 20% of our fundraising will probably go back to Walmart for helping us out as a non-profit organization, as far as toothpaste, tissue, and other things that we need if they're gonna come stay with us. And then as far as how we're gonna get people that are already veterans on the street to know about our organization, since they don't have social media and all things like that, we were gonna pass out flyers and post signs and stickers on, you know, poles and bus stops and everywhere that veterans usually stay, under bridges, everywhere, and try to, you know what I'm saying, make sure that everybody knows about our organization. And we was gonna use bank investments, bank loans, and that's all of that we need big money. All that money will go towards like our building and our transportation, as far as people can call people outside. If you see somebody outside that is homeless and you don't want them around your house, we will actually come get them using our TVO. You know, so we will come pick up the veterans that are local, only local veterans in Houston, to help them in our Houston area first, to touch our veterans for our veterans touching veterans organization.
Very good. Is that it? All right, next up will be group 3.
So we're gonna answer the questions first. So, finding opportunities we see, who was affected and why. Military veterans are affected because they're veterans that have lack of education, because some left out of high school and went straight into the military. So they're not really technology savvy. So that's who it's affecting. The second question, organization and options. We use A. The business will be a non-profit organization that veterans can come to and take classes on technology and also get help with interviews for new jobs. This will lead them to getting a job and also getting home. And C, execution. This will be a way to fuel America's economy again and also give our veterans a place in our economy again.
The way we will fund this would be we would go to different military bases. You know, we have one like probably a couple hours from here called Fort Hood. We will go out there, get military families to donate to us, because they're big on stuff like that. I know my family is, because my dad's in the military. And then we will come back. I have a church right down the street. We will go there. They have a building that they let people use for the classes and everything, where people can learn, and we will have different businesses come out there, and we will make connections, and we will network, so we will have ways to set up interviews for the veterans that decide to come to our center to get jobs and get help and get a job. And a job leads to a home, so they won't be homeless no more. And that's about it.
In our name of organization is a helmet, a hand.
Say it again for me.
A helmet, a hand.
Okay. All right. Is that it for you guys? Thank you very much, Group 3.
So, the name of our organization is Veterans Are Us. We represent the veterans, basically. So, on the question, number 1, like, what are the problems? We picked that one. The veterans come home and then there's no work for these people because they basically just finished something. Like, when they came out of that, they had nowhere to go because we just finished out from somewhere that you're out of civilization. They were packed up, and now they're coming back and there's no work to come back to, you know? So they're stuck homeless. And we try to protect these people. We're trying to provide for them, you know? They have no financial backing. That's what causes the problem, you know?
And then there's lack of professionalism because they have no particular field and they're stuck in the streets. And then we have, what is the business? It's a nonprofit organization looking to help veterans, like protect the protectors, go Avengers. And you know, like, we're trying to give them back what they have given to society. Basically, we're helping them out. And this is also an economical profit. They give to society and we're giving back to them. And when they work, they're also giving back to society again. And then advertising, we intend to post videos of YouTube of these veterans on the street and how difficult their lives are to appeal to donors so they can come over and give us money to help these veterans get homes and jobs. And then, why should the company be financed?
The company should be financed by, we was gonna ask Mr. Michael with Energy Banking to be one of our sponsors, because we felt that this would be a good thing for us to actually get a different relationship when he was talking about how he goes to different football games and fellowship with whoever he's trying to get the partnership with. We felt that he would be the one to partnership with us, and I feel like he wouldn't have a problem with partnershiping with us and being our sponsor for our organization.
And then another way we was gonna get people, you know, it's gonna be volunteers, so it'd be like a lot of volunteer stuff, like just go out and just get people who wanna help us and help the community and help society. So then that'll be a big part, they'll play a big role in helping us get our goals accomplished by helping the veterans on the streets.
I think all the questions got answered. I guess the way we execute it is through word of mouth and getting the word out and letting people know that this is a big occurring problem in our society nowadays. People are coming back, they don't have any type of, as I'll put, any real world experience with anything like small jobs, like working at a store or stuff like that. And so by putting these people who are coming back from fighting and stuff like Navy SEALs and stuff, we're giving them these jobs. That way they become taxpayers, and that's giving back to the economy altogether.
And then with the money from the bank, you know, build a facility so they have somewhere to come, and they won't just remain homeless. They'll have somewhere to come. They will have that going for them. So,
and the traumatized part of the veterans would need counseling for post-traumatic stress. Do you have a lot of problems with that? Have any experiences they, kind of collectively have when they come back from the Army?
And then for our staffing, we said that we would have volunteers, so that we would want people that actually would love to do this. So we want someone not for the money. So we would ask for volunteers. So once we reach out to the veterans and go out to the streets and try to get them to come to our facility, we would ask that volunteers be a crowd with our organization.
And that's it.
Very good. Thank you, Group 4.
What's the name, y'all? Veterans Are Us.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you to Group 4. Please join me in a round of applause for them.
I'm Alexis Jackson. I'm the speaker for today.
My name is Jeremy Eugene. I am the timekeeper.
I'm Jalen Kirkendall, and I was the note taker.
My name is Brianna Adolphus. I'm the consultant.
My name is Dre. I was the researcher.
Okay. Team name is H2O Marketing.
What is it?
H2O Marketing. The goal of our company is to utilize the neutral Bion's laboratory at the Johnson Space Center to the full capacity by offering the lab as a training facility to potential tenants. So basically, we're going to be renting our pool out as you would rent an apartment out, just for a little time being. The services that we cater to mostly is scuba diving training, military training, Olympic, and we offer it as an Olympic training facility. We came up with an equation of how we would generate our money into the company.
Okay.
And the equation is the number of people a day that we have, times the number of hours they stay. And we charge $200 by the hour, and that generates, we came up with 8,000 a day.
Excellent.
The first question that we answered from Framing the Future was finding opportunities, letter C, who is affected and why. And we answered it as the scuba divers and the military personnel that are seeking a safe and top of the line facility for training. So they can come and get a good training, won't have to worry about anything happening, anything going wrong. They get full training with no problems. Question number 2, organizing options. Letter C, what is the motive and why? And our motive was basically our goal that we stated earlier. Which is offering a training facility for personal attendants. Number 3, executing and designing a plan to support your strategy. We answered letter C again. Why should the company be financed? Our company should be financed because there is a high demand for this type of facility and training, which would attract potential tenants and bring in revenue. So that way, the question wouldn't be, where would the money come from?
Now tell me how you came up with your name.
Basically.
And repeat your name again and tell me how you came up with it. Who came up with it, the name? Was it collaboration?
We
just said H2O, yeah.
So we said H2O marketing because mostly like everything is dealing with the water right now, and then we were talking about water parks.
Okay, great.
H2O was just a thought.
I have a question.
Question.
You said you are going to sponsor for military people?
Yes, sir.
Why would they pay?
What would they pay?
Why would they pay?
Why would they pay? I mean, they need the training.
No, the government has to pay.
Oh,
You are looking at $8,000 income coming from this facility. They are not fee paying people.
You're saying the military wouldn't pay us?
No, you can charge the government to government. You're charging the government taking from one part on.
We do interagency charging, yes. The military would pay us. They do, for example, we get weather information for the space station from NOAA, and we pay them for that service. So there is an interagency payment.
To answer your question, the military would pay us and they would choose our company because they would want to find a facility that is trusted with a name like NASA, and they know that the NASA facility would be one that would be safe.
Have you thought about other potential tenants?
Yes, ma'am, but we just narrowed it down to 5. We had a long.
Okay, give me some others. Anybody?
Well, we was gonna use the whole facility since there was the crane for the skydiving and the parachuting, so we could use that too. And if someone wants to
market that too,
skydiving schools, like the military, if they're jumping out of planes, you can practice there.
We also said marine biologist training. There's a lot of incidents offshore, like let's say for instance an oil spill. They need to examine the water. Say for instance they have to go under the water to see how deep the oil sank or anything like that. We thought about that.
We also kind of thought about focusing on the astronaut part, but the space part, we didn't want to take away anything from what NASA was already doing, so we kind of stuck with the training facility for everything.
Excellent. Any questions from Team Tiger Nuts?
I actually have a question.
Okay.
What's y'all slogan?
What are you waiting for? Call us. Go ahead. There you go. I like it.
Water.
What are you waiting for?
I love that.
That's genius.
That is genius. It is. Very, very good. All right. Thank you very much, Team H2O.
My name is Simba.
Simba, and I am the presenter.
My name is Renee, and I am the assistant researcher.
My name is Kimora, and I'm the creative analyst. My name is Wendy, and I was the timekeeper.
Good afternoon. My name is Simba, and we are the Tiger Knots. Who pays taxes? Are you tired of wasting taxpayers' money? Well, here at Tiger Knots, we have an opportunity for you. At NASA, there is a natural buoyancy laboratory. It's a state-of-the-art pool that our naval and marine branches of our military can take advantage of. Our facilities are safe and will reduce training fatalities. Our campus will save money because we are based in the United States and we don't have to send any of our troops out of the country. All of our classrooms, lifeguards, and engineers are available for your convenience. We hope that you take our marketing pitch into consideration. And remember, we are the Tiger Knots and we think above and beyond. To answer the questions that were presented, who is affected and why? The Navy and Marines. Why? We're in the United States and it's safer. What is the motive and why to provide facilities? We provide with you with whatever you need. We have our engineers. If you need us to build a combat situation, then we can do that for you. Why should your company be financed? We're saving the government money. The government doesn't have to go out and build a new facility. We have one right here, and when this facility is not being used, the government is actually losing money. So if we can spend that time when it's not being used to fill it with our Marines and naval personnel, then the government won't be wasting money. Thank you.
Okay. Something about safety, what was that? You said military could use that for safety because it is in the United States.
Yes, we could use it for safety because it's a controlled environment, and we understand that NASA doesn't make mistakes. So, and we also have lifeguards and other personnel on site just in case there are some unseen accidents.
Now tell us what are you charging and what's your, how are we going to be making money?
Well, for the classrooms, it will be $812.50 per room, and we factored in that it would be $9 million to use.
9 million?
Yeah.
For how long? For daily?
Speak up.
Then she's factoring in the cost for yearly.
A yearly,
Yes,
9
ma'am.
million a year, okay. Did you factor in how much time that would be? How much time?
You mean how long they would be in there?
For $9 million?
No, we did not.
Okay. What was your slogan?
We think different, or we think above and beyond.
We think above and beyond. Okay, cool. And tell me, besides the naval and marine, did you look at other potential clients or customers that could potentially be tenants?
Well, there was one, I'll let you guys explain the others, but there was one where we would lower drain some of the water out and create like a wave machine, and then for companies to come in and test levees for hurricanes to see if they would withstand different forces.
Excellent, okay. Anything else, team? Speak up.
We also thought about like rescue missions with animals, specifically dolphins.
And we also had we had the Navy's Marines, and we also had the Coast Guards. We had from like motor companies come test their boat motors or jet skis in the waters that are hold up and gets different water pressures.
Excellent. Anything else? Any questions from our senior management team? No more questions? All right, thank you. Great. certifications.